All right, this is a trade recap for Monday, March 16th, 2026. One and done, phase 2, 3 of 10. Yeah, kind of a mouthful. Kind of an odd day in the market. Was interesting. Looking at where we opened, how the price action was this morning. Did take a loss, as well as a reset trade. Recovered a good chunk of it. Not the entire thing though, so red day, but it happens. Especially with, again, kind of wonkiness in the price action. It was interesting. Really seemed like the market didn't know what it wanted to do, or was kind of SPY was waiting on Qs and Qs was waiting on SPY kind of situation. Definitely needed some patience today, discipline. And also, again, being respectful of trade plans and the rules and the strategy and all that stuff. So all in all, still good experience. A lot of people associate when you got red days as like or bad or horrible things, but honestly, they're some of the better days that you can have because they generally point out exactly where the holes in your game are, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's one of those things that just you got to find that information and apply it. And you know what? Sometimes trades just don't work, and that's all right. I mean, how often or how high the hit rate is for this strategy, you get it back pretty quick. So with that being said, you're not going to probably have good trade plans, solid strategy, or knowledge unless you're really getting coached and mentored on this kind of stuff. Trying to do it alone, it's like you can try, but there's so much noise out there and BS that it is extremely hard. So with that being said, if you are in the market for a coach and mentor, I highly recommend you go see Pat Mitchell over at Trick Trades. He has been in the markets for over a decade now, and he shows every single day what is exactly possible when you have a solid strategy, solid trade plans. You obey, again, the rules of those trade plans and strategy, and you are disciplined, and you treat this the way you should treat it, and that is as a professional level trader. And it does take time to get there, and Pat will really help get an individual to where they want to be in a much more like accelerated schedule. Trying to figure this out on your own, it's like you're going to be spinning your wheels for a very long time, and chances are you will give up before you get there. It takes a special kind of person to really get this figured out, and he has. And the fact that he's willing to share that with anyone is amazing. No other way to describe it. So like I said, if you're new or struggling with day trading, Pat Mitchell's the man you want to see. So check out his service over at tricktrades.com. And if you want to get an idea of what, the content he puts out there, he does have a YouTube channel with over 1,700 videos right now. There's a ton of information in there. Trying to put it all together in a cohesive manner to truly understand it, that's going to be difficult, not going to lie. But if you want to attempt that, have at it. I would say it's probably much easier and significantly less time consuming than just, again, join the service. It is pretty affordable. I will say that for what you're getting. And if not, okay, continue on with the way you're doing things, and best of luck to you. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and get into this morning's trades. So, quick lay of the land here. Our daily charts are here on the left. Our 1 minute intraday charts here in the middle, and I have order execution here on the right. We only trade SPY and Qs. We do not trade any other tickers. These blue levels you see are the levels developed by Pat for the trade plan. He starts the night before, refines them the morning of a trade session, and then they do not move. They are static. They're set in stone. I do add my risk levels because that's something I like to see personally, but that is not something everyone does, and Pat does not do that. So that is a little departure there, a little tweak there, because that's just a visual cue that I like. Why will that always be there? maybe, maybe not. Again, we will evolve as traders as we get further down the road. So this is a recording of the live session, and it's probably gonna have to jump forward a little bit because it was a fairly grindy morning session. It's about 10 seconds before the opening, so I'll go ahead and hit play here. You can see where we're opening up between these two levels on SPY and these wider channel and Qs. Let's kind of just waiting to see what tests and triggers first. So with that going on, let's see here. I'm just getting charts positioned and everything. So there's the open, kind of starts doing its thing. Doesn't really trigger initially, so it starts moving down a little bit. Trying to see that again, might play with that little trend there that I threw on there just to see what it was like. Okay, seems to be something reacting there. Kind of waiting to see it come up into that pre-market high range to potentially start in with 1 and then add 1 at the level and save 2 for the risk. So it looks like we're kind of moving up. Doesn't quite get close enough there on that first attempt. Kind of get zoomed in a little bit here just to kind of watch a little bit closer. Again, waiting for the level. Again, exercising patience, because again, where risk is, like, gotta really wait for that level. It comes into it. Gonna go ahead and fire one off right there, and then kind of see how we react. Get a little bit of a reaction, but not much. Q still has room to come up, so that's kind of what I'm watching right now. I'm seeing when we get that reaction. We start to get a reaction. Not, again, a huge reaction, so it's one of those things where it's still trying to be patient. Q is above that 5, and the 5 is right below that, so it's like might get held up there. So, and that's kind of comes down, then pops right back up. SPY didn't really want to come down as much as Q, so that was interesting. It's kind of the first little piece of information that it gave, was like, okay, SPY might be a little bit stronger. Comes up, test level again. Not going to add there because I've already entered there, so that level's basically, I've taken my entry, so I will not just keep piling in on the same level. And that is something that's very important. Again, with how things are shaping up, you can see there's a divergence between SPY and Qs. So watching out, and then, okay, now SPY is coming up, so this is where I'm going to potentially get ready to add another, kind of see if we get that upper level. Again, Qs not really following suit. It's not having the same level of reaction as SPY is, per se. So again, it's interesting. Keeps going, speed this up, comes up into that level, and then take the add. So now we're up to 2. Pulls back on Qs. Now below the 5, but SPY not really doing all that much. So I'll get a little zoomed in there on SPY just to be like, it's interesting. Comes down, kind of first little range where it pulled back, and now it's coming up. It's like, okay, pops through the level, so, but it's also coming into the 5 on the daily, so see what we get there, which is, again, a good potential spot to add. So I'm going to go ahead and add there. It's a little bit before the risk line, or my risk level, so it's like, okay. So just kind of wait, seeing what the reaction is in with 4 contracts at this point, and then you just got to be patient. It's coming up, getting, again, see volatility on Qs pushing just above the opening range a little bit. Again, don't get freaked out about SPY. I mean, that's the risk level. If it's being cautious, being watching it, and again, seeing how it reacts, seeing what's going on. But don't, again, no real need to freak out or anything. And then again, kind of just starts piercing through it. So again, kind of wait, what you need to do is, again, if it's going to break above, it's going to break above, and then you have to wait for it to confirm above before really taking any action. Qs is coming up into that level, so again, that might put enough pressure to keep it from potentially going up, so comes back down. Really starts coming back down to level, so with that, decided again, start paying myself, because that is the reaction back down into support. You have to pay yourself there, Pat. Always again, daily, it's like you got to pay yourself on that first reaction, whether you're green, red, or what, because that's maybe all you get. And if you don't pay yourself, you might, again, dig yourself a deeper hole. Now, one mistake I did here was I paid one to the level, saw how I was reacting, wanted to take off one more. I didn't change my quantity and accidentally pulled two. So now I'm out three. So now I'm just down to one, unfortunately, because it's one thing like, okay, it's starting to look like it's following through. Did not want to necessarily take all three off at that level immediately. So that was a mistake on my part. Fat finger, didn't catch it. Another thing to note, learn from it, make the adjustment. Now we're going to come back up above the level. And as you can see, it just continues to do this. So again, just trying to be real patient with that one contract. And it's just like, okay, let's see where we go kind of thing. And it's just like, okay, continuing. Looks like it might want to roll over, might want to hold, just screw out that level, kind of get bought up there. Again, as you see, again, I will on occasion throw a line on their charts, and that's okay. Sometimes just to draw on them with a freehand tool, just to note things out. It's a good habit to get into. Just again, kind of lay things out. You'll probably see a little bit more of the drawing. And again, took the last one off as it came much higher past the risk. So I was like, okay. So right there, down $104 on that trade, which is, let's say, average loss. It's not anything, again, for 4 contracts. Like, no, it's not anything too bad because you're only talking $25 per contract in terms of loss. Like, no, it's not bad at all. So, yeah, again, get into the actual charts now. So pull up. Okay, so as you can see, this is where it's the ironic thing. And sometimes this happens, but again, you still have to be respectful of where your trade plan, where risk is and stuff like that. So it came up, as you saw through the video or the playback, it was where we executed, took some off, and yeah, tried to let it work and run or sort itself out before ultimately bailing on it, and risk ultimately did trigger and take me out of the position, and that's that. Did it come back down? Yes. Then it popped even higher, and then it came down. Then it popped even higher, and then finally came down. So would you want to hold through that? Would you want to just respected it, considering you started in at 669.05 all the way up to 671-ish? I mean, you're talking almost 2.5 points from that initial entry. You're working average kind of up. So again, average is kind of down there, plus the meltdown. So in order to get back green, like you have to be down in this area. So it's one of those things where, yeah, again, just didn't work. And that's okay. And again, it's one of the things we could have held longer potentially. And it's like, sure, could have. But then again, it's like, when do you go from this being your trade plan to you being a bag holder and hoping it comes down? Again, there's a difference there, and you gotta, again, are you respecting your trade plan? Are you being disciplined and following the rules? I would say no, unless you really planned in the beginning to take all of this into account. Yeah, again, could you potentially, again, rode this out, say if you waited for this level? Yeah, again, because your risk would have been much different. So, yeah. Again, it would have been up in here and there's no confirmation. But here's the other thing. It's like, okay, took the red trade. Is there an opportunity to recover from that loss? And again, if you're new to this and you maybe not used to taking more than one trade a day or taking a reset trade specifically, that's the thing. So $104 loss off of SPY, but I did take a reset trade. So as you can see, as we are working our way up into this level, came up into the level, and this is the entries on Qs, and basically did one singular contract. This is kind of an interesting thing. Took one contract off of this level, screwed around with it, came back up. I'm just going to, again, already took a loss, so see if we can get some of it back, but being respectful of where the level is, where the risk is. Again, the risk is fairly tight, and you also have, get this out of the way. It's hard to see now, but again, the 9 is right here, sitting in here. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I got this level, this technical level backed by the 9, liking, again, the setup there, higher probability with that. and then just waiting, being patient, because Q's again did not really signal that it wanted to rip. Like SPY looked like it was much stronger. It really wanted to move higher, but Q's didn't. So kind of just watch, wait, be patient, and then again kind of came up, tested again. As soon as it came up kind of into that high, and then opened up and just dumped. Okay, that's interesting. So there's definitely some sell pressure there. Tried to come up again, kind of pops, and then immediately gets sold again. Again, another piece of information, looking good, and then opens and then just kind of starts rolling over. And then when it did, just let it roll. And again, it's probably going to come down into one of these kind of levels before bouncing. As you can see, it interacted like right in here and right in here. And then also putting a bottom here, bounced, and then sold off a bit more down into the low of the morning. And then on that one, with a singular contract, being patient, and just on this 2 candles, this was in the green, $71. So that minimized the loss down to what, 33? Yeah. So again, recovered basically 70% of the loss. So again, how many people again will take, $20, $30 on a loss on a singular contract versus the 4 ultimately between the SPY loss and then the 1, again, green trade on Qs. So all in all, good lesson, good management, good reset off that one. And yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where if you're not sure what the value of a coach and mentor potentially is, well, this is what the value of a coach and mentor is, because they can help you, again, build up the skills to be able to manage your positions when they're going against you, how to reset, how to keep everything in line, in check. So it's not one of those things where you're freaking out when you take a loss. And what is a standard loss at that? It's like no trade has a guarantee that it's going to work. It has different levels of probability. And so it happens. So you just manage it. If it takes you out, it takes you out. Move on to the next one, if there is a next one. And again, you still got to recognize that not every trade is a reset trade. Again, if you want to take a reset trade after a loss, you need to identify a higher probability trade, not a lower probability trade. But this is all stuff that Pat teaches, and he teaches it every day on Screen Share. So if you need or are looking for, and you probably do need, a high-level coach and mentor, come see Pat Mitchell over at tricktrades.com. Sign up for the service. If you want more information, like I said, he's got his YouTube channel with over 1,700 videos. There's a link down in the description to the SizeUp webinar, which is the SizeUp program that he designed to help new and struggling traders build their skills to become professionals, as well as links to the other memberships. That'll get you a slight discount if you're interested for the first month. But yeah, all in all, it's an interesting day in the morning. Was not really thinking the price action would unfold the way it did this morning, but hey, sometimes it happens. And then again, exposure to more conditions and scenarios, that's what we need. Just helps, again, build up our experience base. But all in all, good day in my mind. And yeah, hopefully everyone else had a good day, and we will catch you tomorrow for the next one. Have a good one.